That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
We're live, folks.
Whoa.
What's up, boys?
What's up, gentle friends?
What is going on? Hey, big night tonight because at the end, in about 50 minutes, those been following along, you know we're going to be giving away the cash-in chatterbait rod and 4 of the snagless jigs. So first of our 5-month, each month, we've got a prize, fishing tackle, fishing gear giveaway. And tonight is the Icon chatterbait rod from Cash and some snagless jigs. So, but you got to stay on the 750.
That's right. You got to stay through the whole shebang. And
Somewhere towards the end, we're going to do it for sure.
Yeah, somewhere towards the end. So hopefully everybody dials into this because this is a very important one. First month, like Ben said. But speaking of Ben and Pete, we know you're up in PA. We're going to bring you on here in just a second, even though you're already on.
He's controlling it from out there. Right?
Pete's controlling everything. While you guys are on the internets, head on over to onecastfishing.com. Check out all the snagless jigs, the weedless nets, the soft plastics, the OneCast fishing apparel, the OneCast podcast apparel. Use that code, the OneCast, at checkout and save yourself a little bit of change. And if you go ahead, Ben.
I was going to speak to that and get the OneCast apparel as you mentioned. I'm wearing the hat up here. We got a 5-star review on that today.
Did we?
Yes, we did.
Solid, dude.
So solid. We got somebody else from PA on? What's up?
What? Why didn't they just come over, Pete, and say hi?
Yeah, you could just come and jumped on live.
I'll put your address out there for everyone to hound you down. But yeah, guys, go check OneCast Fishing out. Obviously, Ben owns them, but they are a huge sponsor of the show. We really appreciate all the support. And also, if you're in the market for some apparel, head on over and see our friends at Carolina Waters. CarolinaWatersNC.com has you covered with all your UPF gear. They got a ton of different shirts, hats, some other new merchandise that's coming to the market soon. They've been a huge supporter of the show, and the same thing applies. CarolinaWatersNC.com. Use the code the OneCast, and you're also going to save quite a bit of money at checkout. And then, oh, by the way, use the link that Pete has dropped in the chat or description or whatever the case may be, and check out all of our friends at Hobie Eyewear. Hobie Eyewear has a ton of different eyewear, from outdoors like fishing eyewear to just stylish stuff like that. These are the floating series frames right here. This one is it's the satin gray lens. I do that because I write on my Hobie Eyewear cases. They come with these awesome cases like that to protect your sunglasses. Pete and I have made several videos throwing these things in the water, and so is our buddy Bassin Through. So check those guys out. Use the link in the description, and you're definitely going to save 15% on any Hobie Eyewear. And then lastly, if you're in the market for a piece of property or just or even a piece of residential property, you can hit our buddy Eric Schwind up at Eric Schwind at ESCHWIND at mossyoakproperties.com, or shoot him a call or text at 936-494-9686. Eric has been with Mossy Oak for a while now. He covers the Sandhills region here in North Carolina, and there's a ton of property for sale. So whether you're looking to build a home or just get a piece of hunting land or a place where you can enjoy the outdoors, Eric's got you covered. That's 936-494-9686 or ESCHWIND at mossyoakproperties.com.
I didn't have to do any of that tonight. That was awesome. But I do need to talk about a couple other things. So first, we had Take a Warrior Fishing. We had those folks on the other day. We've got that event coming up May 18th. I know David Fuchs, man, I was super happy to see you're coming down. Looking forward to that, fishing with you again in May. Going to come down and take a veteran out. They still need 8 boaters. So if you're anywhere near North Carolina, you're looking to take a trip and fish one of the local lakes, one of the lakes you've seen MLF and some of the other folks at before. Sharon Harris on May 18th with Take a Warrior Fishing Inc. and the Warrior Fishing event. Going to be a good time. Looking forward to it. They got a little mixer Friday night at a local brewery, so we'll be there. I know I'll be there hanging out. I'm sure Trey will. I think Ben's going to be gone that weekend, so at least the 2 of us will be there. Ben's still around.
Just the 2 of us.
I'm sure he'll pop in too, but make sure you do that. And then I got hit up if you're closer to Pennsylvania, New Jersey, West Virginia. I'm going to share this because it's a lot of information. But this event's been going on for 20 years. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this up real quick so you all can see it. So this is the Paralyzed Veterans of America Keystone chapter in the Outcast Bass Club. I've been doing a team tournament here in Pennsylvania for the last 20 years. And what they do is an able-bodied angler, boat captain, and a disabled angler. So they might be a quadriplegic, might be a paraplegic. They've got all kinds of special equipment. They've got everything they need to do to get them on your boat and make sure they're safe. They just need boaters. They have a hotel set up that's free of charge for anybody that's doing it. Hold on. I'm using my wife's Mac, and I'm trying to learn because I don't know Macs. So if you're interested in doing that, the tournament director's name is there. That's Larry Freeman. You can reach out to him or Tom Strang, and I'll post this in our group as well, so the info's there. So if you're close, this is something you might want to do. But they do a whole reception Friday night. Like I said, they've got lodging at no charge. They've got a hotel that donated all the rooms for 30 boats. For anglers and veterans. You can see the picture there of the guys, in their wheelchairs and stuff. So it's a really unique opportunity, but another opportunity to get veterans out that have done so much for us. So I'll post this flyer up. Just want to make sure we start making you aware of this is coming up. So it's going to be in June, the 14th and 15th of June. I'm going to see if there's any possible way I can do this one. I don't know if I can. I'm going to try to convince my dad to do it. But it'll be a good time. So if you're looking for a similar event and you're in that PA, West Virginia, Ohio area, there's one coming close to you. So I'm going to stop sharing that.
That's not the. I was going to say, Pete. So you talked about the Take a Warrior Fishing Inc. event on May 18th. You talked about that event up there in Pennsylvania. It's in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And then finally, Special Operations Bass Anglers, they did push out their charity event, which is held the Friday before Veterans Day. And that's in November if you guys aren't tracking that. But that is up at Lake Norman, North Carolina. They are taking registrations right now. So whoever registers, that's going to, whatever number you are, that's going to be your boat number for the launch. And that also gives you an opportunity to get out there and support a great cause. Yeah. That's the annual Mark McCowan Special Operations Bass Anglers Charity Tournament. A lot of people get involved, really cool donors, a lot of professional anglers. Last year, Shaw Grigsby showed up. So it's a really good one-day event for supporting a great cause. So if you're in the North Carolina area, and you don't have to be in the North Carolina area because Mike Johns came up from Florida, people come up from Texas, all across the continental United States to fish that one-day deal. It's a great opportunity. So that's on the Special Operations Bass Anglers Facebook page. You can check that out, and we might be able to.
You can FBD on Lake Norman.
You can fish boat docks all day long.
Yes, you can.
That's a great event. And look, if you're on right now and it's something that you would consider doing or want to do, shoot me a DM. I have not reserved a house yet. If we get enough folks, you all are more welcome to come and crash at a place. We'll get a big house. There's a ton of them on Norman. We'll hang out, we'll fish. I'm probably going to go for like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and come back Sunday. So I'm going to make a couple day trip out of it because if I'm going there, I might as well go fishing. Norman is a super fun lake to fish. That time of year, you can catch them on top water. You can catch them doing pretty much anything you want.
Hey, Rig.
Yeah, I plan on. I'll probably just be there Thursday, Friday. Of course, I'll be a bachelor, living a bachelor life at that point.
That's
so
true.
Oh, darn.
Yeah. But I got dogs to worry about. Can I bring the dogs?
We talked about all that stuff. Let's talk about industry stuff. And of course,
we got a lot to talk about tonight.
Can I say something?
Before we get into all this,
can I say something real quick, Pete?
Yeah.
So, hey guys, it is Good Friday today. You guys are a lot of people are probably traveling to go see family and friends. And if you're doing that, please don't be on our show, but we appreciate you guys jumping on the show on Good Friday.
Unless you're pulled over.
Yeah, unless you're playing. But like Ben said at the beginning, we are going to do that drawing today. So please stick around to the end so you can see that little wheel of fortune that Pete's going to throw up on the screen. Pete, get in the industry stuff.
Yeah. So one more thing before we do the giveaway later, there's going to be 3 spins. So if you're watching, I'm going to do 3 spins. The first 2 are just to show you that it's random. It's just to cover everybody so you can't say that we had it set to land on somebody the first time. So I'm going to do 2 spins, and then the third spin will be the winner. So don't freak out if you see you're the first one, because unfortunately, we're going to do that for fairness. I've seen I've seen some giveaways go sideways when they just spin a wheel and the first person wins, and it's, you know, somebody that's a friend or whatever, and people are like, well, that's, you had it set to do that. And so in order to make sure there's none of that, we're going to do two random throwaway spins, and then we'll do our third spin, and that'll be the winner. But industry, MLF is all over the news. Before we get into that, I want to say what's up. We had a bunch of people say hi. So what's up, David Fuchs, Matthew Bettner, Jessica Waldron. What's going on, Jessica? Hope you're doing well. Christine Fuchs is on. Nick Kincaid is coming from Gaylord, Michigan. My boy Jeff Horner is on from North Carolina there. Who else we got?
I see Rodney's on.
It's Gaylord, Pete.
Gaylord? I like Gaylord better. Sounds funnier. Mike Eckert, Tony Parsley, Ricky Rueda. Hopefully I didn't butcher that too bad. You mean being a friend and listen to the show don't help me win what? Yeah, I know. It's
who's on from Arkansas?
Mike Eckert from Arkansas. We got folks from all over. So it's really cool that we're able to connect. But let's talk industry. So MLF had two big stories. Number one, we had the boat accident down there in the Harris chain during the Toyota series. Essentially what happened is two dudes decided they didn't want to go slow through no wake zone because they wanted to make way in. One of the guys that was leading decided he was going to slow down for a bridge and no wake under that. The guy behind him decided he wasn't going to slow down or probably couldn't react fast enough and drove on top of him. They put it into the bushes, into the side, into rocks. It wasn't good. Luckily, nobody was killed or injured too bad. But they got suspended for 1 year for this year. So I'm calling it 1 year. They're ineligible for any 2024 events. And then, I had, in solidarity with my buddy James here, #FBD. The MLF BPT announced today that James Watkins is suspended for the remainder of this year. They have revoked his invitation for the BPT. He is ineligible to fish any Major League Fishing sanction events, and he can reapply to be reinstated in 2026.
January 1st,
2026. So essentially his MLF career is probably over. He stood up for what he believed in with everything going on. He's been super critical of the organization. There are rules against such a thing. But James, doing what he does, trying to stand up for himself and the other anglers. He made the flip boat docks, #FBD hats and shirts, which it does say flip boat docks real small. I know you guys can't see it, but it's right there, apparently Mr. Duckett took that a different way and thought that it was aimed at him. And he was fined with the hat. And then at the Classic, James released some shirts that may or may not look very similar to a certain fishing rod company. So he's suspended essentially for the remainder of his career with MLS.
I'm gonna let you know in a second, Trey, but I've been super critical of MLF. Not the organization. I want to be clear. I love I love what they tried to do. I do not like the fact that you have one dude that basically is the say all, be all, end all of that, and it's negatively impacting anglers right now. We're all anglers. Like, I want whatever organization they want to fish with, the anglers should be supported. That's your product. The anglers are your product, and there's been a long history of them not supporting their anglers, and it continues. And unfortunately, some folks have spoke out, some folks have left, and this is where we're at now. So go ahead. What's going on, Aaron? Go ahead, Trey. Man, I think I just had a brain fart. But, at the end of the day, I don't expect anything less of James Watson coming from, his background as a soldier and as a premier businessman in civilian world, if you will. Like, he had the intestinal fortitude and backbone to stand up for himself. And like, for me, I appreciate that. Because the culture is very dynamic right now in the world in general. So good on him for standing up for that. And I'm going to give a free plug here. James said it on his social media, but I'll just regurgitate. He's going to be on Luke Duncan's Low Budget Live podcast, April 8th, I think it is.
And They're going to do an actual live.
Yeah, they're
too.
actually going to do a live, and I know I'm going to tune into it because I'm curious to see, what James is saying. And like this, I remember this stuff like really starting and firing up around Lake Lanier when we were down at the MPFL's final event last year. And a lot of the anglers, we were in a house, like, not that I'm an MPFL angler, but a lot of the anglers were in a house and everyone was talking about it. And like, everybody wants to have a voice and they want to stand up for what they believe in. And, when you get oppressed, there's a bandwidth to that. And then I think, like you saw James, like he just reached a breaking point and he was like, I'm tired of this. You know what I mean? So, right, wrong, or indifferent, he used his platform to stand up for what he believed in. MLF is a privately owned organization and they also have the right to do what they did. But at the end of the day, like, it just stirred the water, man. It really did.
So that's the big thing this comes down to is the public. I mean, the court of public opinion here, because I mean, this has been going on for a long time. There's been a lot of shenanigans that we have talked about. That most people know who follow MLF. That's happened over the last couple of years. All the cheating allegations, and of course, when we were down at Lanier, what was that? September, October. That's when they released all the cutting the field and the drawdown and right, putting a lot of anglers in a bind. But ultimately, James spoke out there, and I think he was fined. And look, if you took what James did, the FBD, and you took it in a vacuum, and none of this stuff was behind it, yeah, MLF has a right to suspend them. But when you take it all together, and what he was voicing his concerns about, and then they go ahead and suspend him, and this is the death penalty. I can't think of a more extreme punishment for an angler. And as we're speaking as, I mean, look, we just talked about the guys who ran the no wake zone. They're suspended for a year. Where James is suspended for the year and next year. All right, when you look at the guys who were caught catching fish outside the mouth, failing polygraphs, soliciting information before a tournament, right? All those guys were just DQ'd for a tournament. They didn't have any additional suspension. And so it goes to prove James's point by what MLF did here. So,
yeah.
And look, and if you read all the comments and on the internet, on fishing forums, I think it's probably 80-20 or supporting James. And even those, a lot of those will recognize MLF had the right to do what they did, but it makes no sense under the current environment.
Sure.
The only I don't think this is going to cause any change, but if there is such a backlash and sponsors start pulling out, it certainly threatens MLF's future. We don't know how that's going to play out. The only drawback to that is the down trail, the downstream trails, the BFLs and all, because that is really the only large grassroots tournament circuit going on all across the country right now. Bass doesn't really have an equivalent. So, no one wants those to go away. We want anglers to go out there and compete and do what they love. So hopefully,
I want BPT to go away. I know I've been critical of it, but I just want what's best for the anglers. And the reason I've been so critical is because of the hypocrisy that you talked about, rules violations that are on camera during live events, and they only suspend one guy who failed a poly or DQ'd him for an event. And other guys, are on TV doing the same thing. And it's just so much hypocrisy. There's no checks and balances. Essentially one person controls the fate of every angler in that. And it sucks because competition's good. We've said it before. We're fans of the BASS Elite Series. We're fans of the MPFL. I was a fan for a long time of the BPT. I just don't like what they've done to the anglers. And, does it hurt them that I don't support it? Absolutely. But I don't want to support an organization that is dumping all over their asset, what they're selling. So it'll be interesting. James has a long standing relationship with General Tire. He was with General Tire long before the BPT. There's some other sponsors that are title sponsors of the MLF BPT that James has relationships with. So it'll be interesting to see if there's an industry response, because like Ben said, I think that's the only way that you're going to see any type of substantial change is if it starts to hit their pocketbook.
The way it could really make a change is if all the people are upset, just start calling those guys marketing departments. Mm-hmm. I mean, we've heard stories. Who was telling us too recently? It might have been down at Lanier, but people think someone's doing, an angler's doing wrong, and they see a wrap boat and they end up calling that company, and then they get a phone call like, what is going on? And it's all a big, miscommunication. So that does have an effect. Like it's like, call your local congressman if you're really upset. I mean, that's how, that could quickly drive change.
Oh yeah. There's some comments here. And while we're scrolling through the comments real quick, I will say, like, we've seen this over and over. Like, sometimes tragedies create opportunities. So we don't know what's going to happen, but the BPT, the MPFL, bass, like all the different opportunities for anglers to get in the industry is great. And who knows, this could open up the door for something else, man. Like, you just never know. Sometimes these opportunities, tragedy creates, but, we got a lot of people jumping on here. There was one about Duckett losing a fish.
David said the Duckett lost the classic when his fish came unbuttoned and hit the deck and bounced in the water. I honestly don't remember, David. I'd have to go look. Possibly.
I know Duckett won the classic in 07. I want to say, but I don't know that specific scenario. But it's highly possible. What else we got here? Duckett's wife up there. Yeah, James talked about that, bashing him on his socials. What's up, Brian?
Nick Kincaid said should be a lifetime ban for intentionally breaking the rules. That was going back to the no wake zone violation, no wake violation. I totally agree, Nick. Like the fact that they only gave them a year.
I mean, that's a crime too.
100%, dude. Yeah.
I mean, that is, you're breaking.
You legitimately could have killed somebody right there, like very easily killed somebody right there.
Here's my thing about like guys intentionally breaking state, federal, and league rules for whatever that is. There are, for every one person that's in that organization fishing, there's probably 100 that want to be in your spot. So if you're going to intentionally go out there and put other people in harm's way just to get 5 little green fish back to the scales, like, bro, like you have no integrity. I'll just say that flat out. And if you have an integrity violation, I can't trust you. Like, you can't earn that trust back. So I get it. People change, but that was a stupid move. And I agree. They should be banned from fishing that. That's just Trey's opinion though.
I agree. I mean, there's no way you can say you accidentally ran a no wake zone. We all know there's buoys. There's witnesses that corroborated that they were talking about not going through the wake, no wake zone because they wanted to get back. Things happen. Mike Johns got a bag and got caught up at the thing and ended up
with the lock. Yeah,
he couldn't make it through the lock in time. He didn't violate a no wake zone, knowing that he was cutting time close just because he knew it was cutting time close. He did what he needed to do.
I'll give you a good example of integrity, and I'm not going to name any names, but when we were down at Lake Lanier, certain mapping products have no wake buoys on the maps, right? But the buoys, in fact, on Lake Lanier were non-existent. So it said it on the map, but they weren't there. Said angler went to the tournament director and asked the question, hey, is this a new no wake zone or not? And he said, no, if the buoys are physically not present, it's a no wake zone. That means you can blast through it, right? Just ask the question. When it's clear as crystal and you can't do it, just don't do it.
That's why we have tournament directors to ask those questions. If you don't know, ask the question and get a determination. We've seen videos of guys calling and asking questions on the water. Hey, this situation came up. What do I do? John Cruz had to do it, and it's well documented. He accidentally had 6 fish in his live well. He was calling and he lost track of one, ended up with 6. Went to make another call and realized there were 6 in there. And he called the tournament director, Lisa, and said, hey, this is what happened. What do I do? And she said, go ahead and call, but you're going to take this penalty when you get to weigh-in. And he was like, okay. That's the integrity we're talking about.
Going back to, do we know on the Harris chain where it happened?
So I don't know where
which lock it was out of.
I don't know.
It might have been a Popka. It might have been, but
video and stuff out there. I have to go look.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, because being down there, like, there's a no wake zone, especially if it's between the one in Eustis and Griffin. Like, there's a lot of no wake zone, but there's also the no wake zone ends. You can run like 35 or whatever. And it's a pain, but you got to account for that. And you can't and to go out there and blatantly do it when there's a 200 boat field or whatever it is, it's crazy.
Yeah. So I'll tell you the most tragic thing that happened on the Harris chain while we're on it, right? yes, it was tragic that those guys violated rules and crashed into each other. The most tragic thing to me, though, and Pete, we haven't even talked about our tournament yet, but we were up prepping for our tournament, and we were listening to their live, and man, Bobby Bakewell, man, like he left a fish in the live well. So he weighed in 4 fish on day 3. Now, granted, I don't think he had enough to win, but he definitely had enough not to fall down to like 5th or 6th place, which for you guys know, every position is money and points. And so it was super tragic. We were listening to it while we were rigging up rods and stuff. And he was on stage. He goes, man, I left a fish in the live well. And once you take your fish and dump them in and check them in, that's it. You can't go back to the boat and grab your 5th fish. And that's not the first time that's happened, but that was really unfortunate. I feel really bad for him. I mean, obviously it was a mistake he probably will never make again, but it happens, man.
I counted our fish like 9 times.
I mean, that happened to me one time. I got back and
everything just
I couldn't find my other 12-inch fish. I had, I had a couple that were under 12, and I searched for 5 minutes. I don't know where that fish went in the live well. And so I turned it in, and then I started pumping the water out, and there he is. He's somewhere hidden down there. And it was a club tournament. I think they let me wade in anyway. But yeah, I mean, you think, how does that happen?
Right.
It does happen.
Oh, for sure. I actually have a genius idea of something we can invent. I'm not going to say it right here because I don't want somebody to steal it. So we'll talk about it later. So let's talk about
our weekend last weekend.
Yeah. So something happened in the BASS Opens. We can talk about that after if you want, or we can.
Let's talk about that. I forgot about that. So if you didn't see, Brian New, Elite Series angler, was disqualified from the Santee Cooper Open. Admittedly, he was fishing a bedfish. Could not get the fish to bite. His story is he trolling motored up there to see if the fish was still on the bed. It was still there, and he made the decision to stir the water up to try to make it so nobody else could catch that fish. Somebody called and reported an integrity violation, or a violation for interfering with another angler's ability to catch a fish. So he was DQ'd from that event. Now there's 2-3 sides to every story. It's all out there. In my opinion, that was the right call, whether that's a rule or not. Conservation of our fish should be number one, and to try to blow a bed out is just not the sportsmanlike thing to do. And this is where I hate the fact that there's money involved in bass fishing. I wish there was a way that we could just go out and fish for trophies and get paid a salary and not have to worry about winning or losing for a paycheck, because dudes will do stupid stuff. Dudes and dudettes, guys and girls, when there's money on the line, people will sometimes do stupid things. And I don't know Brian, other than talking to him a few times. I'm not saying he's a bad person or doesn't care about the fish. I'm saying he made a decision to do that. He admitted to it, which I have to say, hey, you didn't try to lie. You said, this is what I did. I didn't know it was a violation. I tried to make it so the next person couldn't catch that fish. And, he got turned in on that. So, we all love to tournament fish, right? Like I love the competition. It's easier on the body than the years I've spent playing softball and football and all of that stuff. And I get to, go out on the water and compete and still feed that. But to me, cashing a check is great, but it's not, I'm not going to like compromise my integrity. That's why I have trouble thinking about going to, how many illegal brush piles have been put in Jordan Lake? Yeah.
Yeah.
16.
How many of them aren't reported to the
I'm gonna tell you right now, it doesn't matter if it's $100,000 or a high five. People are still gonna do stupid stuff. But I will say, Ben and I had the conversation before we jumped on the show. I firmly agree that Brian New did the right thing by taking accountability for it. I have to give him like 1% credit for trying to play defense, but that's not the right way to play defense, really, on the field of fishing, if you will.
Yeah, because we were talking about that. Like, there is some gamemanship in there. It kind of goes back in the day where David Dudley, I think, caught the bedfish at least one time. You were telling me, Trey, and moved to the other side of the lake. I know the other time he said apparently he said he stuck all the bedfish in the canal, which he really didn't because he didn't have time to. He just told Roland and those guys he did
playing some mind games.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
so
there's a way to do it, right? Like,
yeah. And so like, and Pete, when you first sent me that article, I was like, WTF, like who reports that? but then I read more comments and, I didn't read and it was Andrew Upshaw. And like, I think he posted something on his YouTube about it last night. But I started thinking about it more like it's also in the rules. If you see a violation or anything that is potentially a violation, you're required to report it. And if you don't, you stand the risk of being disqualified.
Yep.
So it's one of those situations like, you see a guy do that and it's like, you almost have to, because there's so many people out there. There were so many boats out in that area. Like,
yeah, it's the see something, say something mentality, right? Like nobody wants to be labeled a narc, but at the same time, like it's an individual sport. You're not on a team, even though you're part of a greater organization. Like see something, say something, because especially nowadays, man, like you're caught on camera doing everything. You know what I mean? So like
we police ourselves as anglers, and
yeah, for sure. You want to keep, and then the message that you send to the kids in middle school, to the kids in high school, to the kids in college, like there's a greater audience than just you and your boat. And so if you care about the sport and you care about the future of the sport, then you need to care about your character. That's just the way that I put it. Right. None of us are perfect. We're going to make mistakes. Heck, like, and Pete and I will talk about this right now. We had a tournament, right? Last weekend.
Before we get into our tournament, let's read some comments.
All right, let's read them.
So what do we got? Ike was DC back in the day for off limits. I remember that. Frank Duffy said, I've tossed fish out before weigh-in, not knowing the size limit to weigh in when I could weigh in the small ones. Yeah, I mean, it happens. Harvey Horn did it in the open last year at Bugs Island. He asked his co-angler the minimum size. The co-angler was wrong. Harvey took it that he knew and threw back legal fish, and it probably ended up cashing him a check in that event.
Costing him a check, yep.
Tony said, what happens if you have 6 fish in a bag? It depends on the organization. It's a weight penalty typically. It could be a DQ from the event. It just depends on when you find out.
And it depends on the state, because that would be technically illegal in a lot of states. Most states have a 5 fish limit.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that go into that. What else we got? We definitely have ourselves. I take it from Brian's own words. He purposely did what he did to handicap another angler. Yeah, Mike, that's what we said. He at least admitted that he did it on purpose. The difference between real men or when we make a mistake, we own up to it. I agree. Like that's that whole integrity thing.
Take accountability.
Take accountability for what happens on. What's the joy in the win if you know you cheated to win? Yeah, Keith, I agree. But to some people, man, that trophy or that check or just to be able to say they won a tournament is more important than anything.
We've talked about it so much. And like we talked about a lot with Poche. Like there is a fine line between intentionally breaking the rules and cheating and pushing the boundaries of what the rules are. So, I mean, that's a fine line. And obviously in this case, Brian took accountability for it, went over the line because, Bass committee, there's what I think 3 or 4 man committee.
Dude,
decided.
All sports are like this, right? Like all sports, all professions, like people try to find the loopholes. They try to become their own lawyers and figure out and there's nothing wrong with using the rules to your advantage. It just depends on what context it's in, right? And that's all perception is reality type deal. And unfortunately, when you see things on camera, they give you a whole different context to what's going on.
So it reminds me in football a couple years ago, Kenny Pickett in college did that fake slide. He was running downfield. He kind of acted like he was going to slide. So the defender held up and he goes on to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
Wasn't against the rules, but immediately the next day they're like, okay, we can't be having this because it's a safety issue. And it just wasn't fair to the other competitors because they're going to hold up and that's just not fair gamesmanship, sportsmanship.
Duffy said, look at the walleye guys, what some will do for a check. Yeah, absolutely. They'll do
Hey, I will tell you this. This is how that walleye narrative got out. I did a sleep study last night. I'll just put it to you that way. My sleep sucks. The lady who was hooking all those electrodes up to my body. I talked to her about our podcast and she goes, Yeah, what happened with that? People putting lead in the fish. This is somebody who virtually does nothing in the outdoor industry, and still, this lady who's hooking my face up with a bunch of electrodes is like, she knows about the walleye scandal. So that's how far it reaches. Like,
I mean,
people don't realize it.
It went to mainstream media. You know, they were on Fox, CNN, and people were talking about it. So, you know, like I said, if you go way back to like episode 2, you know, we started this podcast right around when that happened, and I talked about it, and I said, if you look for the light, you know, in the darkness, it brought a lot of eyes to tournament fishing and the fact that this is a thing. But it also brought it to it for the wrong reasons. So, Mike John said he owned up to it after he got caught. If he did this to hinder another angler, what else would he do to get a win? Yeah, I mean, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt, Mike, because I don't know him. He said he didn't believe that was a violation of the rules. Whether he did or not, like I said, ethically, it's completely and totally wrong in my book.
I mean, it would have been very easy,
even after he got caught, instead of trying to continue to deny it like a lot of people will do.
because it would have been very easy to be like, no, I didn't mean to do that, because he came back 7 minutes later, like in his post, he's like, I got the GPS and I presented all that. I mean, we've all been up on beds and got too close and, you know, stirred it up and blew him out and pulled it off and came back later. Like, it would have been very easy just to say, no, that was an accident. I didn't mean to hit that trolling motor that hard. And then I backed up and waited a few minutes and went back, but he didn't. He owned up to it. So
yeah, I guess Trey's opinion on this, I'll talk in the third person, is
okay, Donald.
He's an elite series angler. That's all I got to say. He's an elite series angler at the top level of competitive bass fishing. I'll leave it at that.
Top level competition, man. That's
top level. Yeah. Top level. Let's talk about our derby real quick.
Let's do it, Trey. Let's go.
About bugs.
What do you got, Pete? What did you think about our tournament?
I think we did better than I expected. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I mean, we just wanted to go in there and catch 5 fish. Bugs Island is a lake that neither Trey or I has a ton of experience on. We weren't super confident going into it because we've never really had a great event there. Super proud that we got where we got and ended up 3rd place and we did make a little gas
facing sonar, jig head minnow, baby.
Jig head minnow, forward facing sonar. That's what we told everyone. No, I'm just kidding.
I knew you guys were doing really well because I think it was about noon, midday. I get that text from you saying, that's a real coal right there, and it was like a 1 pounder and a 4 pounder. I was like, okay, if they're pulling up like that, it's going to be a good day for them.
I was super happy because we went in, we got the pre-fish 2 days before. We found a pattern and we stuck to it, and we caught pretty much all of our fish in like a 75-yard stretch.
It was awesome.
We had fish coming to us all day. We had what's up, Ryan? We had a limit before 8. We were calling by 8:15. We made really good decisions as far as leaving, coming back, and ultimately when we decided to leave for the day, I think it was the right time to leave. And we made a call to do some things and ended up making another call, just like the one, if you all saw our social media post, we had another 1 to 4 pound call right at the last 5 minutes to fish. Everything we did worked, thank God. Had a ton of fun, even though the weather wasn't the best first thing in the morning. So I was super happy, man. I'm looking forward to our next one, at Gaston. Yeah. Pete, now you know what it's like to tote Trey in a tourney. Hey, I got to be completely honest. Trey carried me in this one, man. I was basically just a glorified net man in this event. He had, and I'll put a little juice out there. Well, what we were catching our fish on a spinnerbait. We found active fish eating a spinnerbait. And if you've ever fished a team event or with another person, you're both throwing the same bait. Trey had the retrieve and everything down that they wanted, and so he was whacking them, and I didn't whack them as good. I did catch one of the fish that we kept in our bag, but I just it's super funny how that can be. We were throwing the exact same bait. I caught a couple fish on it, but nothing like the day he had. And it comes down to the cadence. You get it figured out and you're just kind of dialed in on what they want. I've done it on the front of my boat with my wife with me. My wife has done it out of the back of the boat with me. I've had friends do it out of the back of the boat when I'm in the front. You just kind of get that cadence down. You get the retrieve speed where they want it and all of that, and you're doing what they want. And he had that. I taught Trey a little bit about flipping because he doesn't have a ton of experience, and we went flipping and ended up calling a couple times from flipping, including that last 5 minute. We made a 3-pound call in like the last 5 minutes to fish, flipping bushes at the end of the day when the sun got up and the wind died. So, man, I was just super proud, Trey. Like I was pumped.
100%.
I was happy I wasn't giving up, but at 1:30 we had like 11 pounds, and I was like, bro, I'm super happy that we have 5 fish for 11 pounds right now. Like, I don't care if we're 28th out of 3 boats. Like, we caught 5 fish. We did our job, and we stuck to it and it worked out. So it was a ton of fun, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one.
I'll tell you, I'm super proud that we didn't turn forward-facing sonar on all day.
Yeah.
Not because forward-facing sonar is bad, but because we did exactly what you said, stuck to the plan, had fish coming to us, staging for pre-spawn. The weather, the conditions, everything was just an absolute part of that puzzle, from the wind direction to the rain, to the water clarity, to the type of avenues that they were taking for pre-spawn, and then the rotations. We could have easily had 20-minute difference here and there, and it could have changed the entire day. Right. And that last clutch move of the day, that's where that partnership comes in so strong. It's like, it's a democracy, but then at the end of the day, if somebody's like, I don't, you just make a decision, right? You just go. We could have easily took a right instead of going left and went straight back to the dock with 11 pounds. And it was really cool how that one shook out, because I don't think either of us had confidence that we were even going to catch another fish within the last 15 minutes of fishing. And you're right. You flipped that good old missile D-bomb down, baby, and whack a 4-pounder and then try to inefficiently boat flip it. Thank you for getting the net.
I caught it as it came across the deck, and the hook came out of its mouth. I netted it in midair. So
yeah, but it was cool, man. We would have ended up in probably 11th place. But we moved up into 3rd place, and we were fishing against some really, really good anglers, and I feel good about it, man. So hopefully the next one is it's going to be fun. It's just going to be fun. We're just going to go into it with an open mind and stick to a plan and then adjust from there.
I'll tell you, man, like it was super fun. Trey and I fish a lot alike, but we also have strengths and weaknesses that complement each other. Like, Trey is a really good offshore fisherman. I am not. I can catch fish offshore, but it's not my jam. Trey loves to do it. Get me in the shallow, skinny water, flipping and doing that kind of stuff, and that's when I'm super confident. Bed fishing, all that. I'm super confident in that. Trey is good at it, but he's not as confident as I am. The other thing, I love fishing boat docks too. There, Ryan. The other thing was, like, we made it so we were on a specific type of, we're done there. So we found fish on a bluff wall leading into a spawning pocket. That's where we caught our fish. I'm not going to say where, but that's where we caught them. And so we had a couple other areas that set up similar. We ran to those areas. The first one we ran to, we caught a short fish pretty quick, and we were like, nope, this ain't it. Like, we went to another one, caught another short fish. We were like, not it. The wind died down, the sun came up, and I'm like, we need to go flipping. We went into the back of a creek and we were fishing, and Trey's trolling motor, and we're fishing, and I was not feeling it. And about the same time, Trey wasn't feeling it. He turned around and goes, dude, I'm not feeling this. I said, me either. Let's go back where we started. So we picked trolling motor up. We ran back to where we started. Boom. We caught a 1.5 pound call, like right then. Yeah. So it was following our guts, like doing what we felt was right. And like I said, sticking to a pattern. So many times, we could have started to run around trying to find a bigger fish. But we knew that area we were in, we were catching keepers, and we knew there were better fish there. Funny thing and cool thing, the picture, if you see that call, I caught that fish in practice the day before. The exact same fish in the exact same area. And I stuck it. And as soon as I stuck it, I said a cuss word. Because when you set the hook and it's a good one, and I went, and I was like, net, and we weighed it, and it was 310. And I said, well, that one's done for tomorrow. So we run back in the afternoon. Trey hooks one, and I'm like, man, put it on the scale, 310. And I look, and it ate the same spinnerbait the day before. My hook mark was still in the top of its mouth where I'd hooked it the day before. And Trey had hooked it perfect in the corner, so it wasn't like we hooked the same spot on two different. It was the same fish, which was, I guess, goes to show you that, you know, we've all been told fish, when you catch them once, you got to wait a little bit. No, she ate 2 days in a row, the same pattern. Within 30 feet of where I caught her the day before, all she did was swing around one side of a little nub, and that was it. So that was really cool.
Here's a piece of education for everyone listening and watching. Like, you know, one thing that I didn't do that I've never done with flipping, particularly buckbrush. You know, I switched to 20 pound, and Pete was like, never Texpose your hook point when you're flipping that buckbrush, right? We all do it when we Texas rig our soft plastics. I'm holding a snagless flipping jig, 3/8 ounce right now. The one that I used at ICAST in 2022. So the hook's bent, but you're all used to Texposing your soft plastic, getting that hook point through and then kind of putting it back in. With the way that we were fishing, you don't do that. Like, you literally put the hook into the bait, but you don't pop the hook end through. And that'll really help you guys out without, you know, with all those snags and stuff. Because flipping that buckbrush, you're talking in the heart of the buckbrush, like not at the end, not off the limbs, straight down the center of that thing. And that to me was a little, I guess, not overwhelming, but like I just wasn't confident in it. And Pete's like, you just got to get in there. And he was absolutely right. And it was so funny too.
Top of limbs, you're going to be, when you hook one, it can turn into an absolute cluster.
Yes.
You do lose fish, but when they're on those bushes, and this is any lake in North Carolina, if you're coming to North Carolina and you're fishing a lake and you're going to be flipping bushes, they are going to be in the heart of the bush. They are going to be up against the stump, and you've got to get it in there to them. They're not going to come up and eat it. They want it to fall in front of their face, and they're going to grab it, and they're going to swim at the boat as fast as they can. Yeah, I don't know that the only place I've ever experienced that's here too. They will eat that; it'll fall straight down. They're going to eat it, and they're going to swim at the boat. Yeah, and you're playing catch up. And plenty of times I've set the hook, and they've already been under the boat by the time you realize they have it. But and then, you know, not Texposing. You know, when you Texpose, you're tucked back in the plastic, but all it takes is that to move a little bit, and then you're just snagging buckbrush. It doesn't come through there super clean. Like,
fun fact, for years, that's how I always did my Texas rigs. I never, popped it back out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're always trying to educate each other. So,
what's up, Jonathan?
Hey, what's up, Jonathan? But yeah, man, it was a good time, dude.
Fun. Yeah, I had a blast, man. I'm looking forward. Jordan's up for you folks that are north
3.5 feet high.
I'm in Pennsylvania, and I'm like, I have the twitches. I like Jordan's in the bushes. The back streets was warm. I will be there Monday morning.
So there's a tournament going on tomorrow at Jordan Lake. If you guys are local here and you're going to fish Jordan, I don't know what the tournament is.
They only eat a deep bomb. That's right. They only eat a deep bomb.
And yes, that's what we were catching them on, was a green pumpkin deep bomb. There's some other colors that they'll eat, by the way. And actually, Mike Johns talked about this floating jig, and I can't remember the name of it. Oh, it's the zero gravity jig. Mm-hmm. Never used it before. Mike used it down in Florida. Yeah, Mike, I just let all your juice out there, but we're all about building a culture here, so get over it. But yeah, like a lot of little tips and tricks. But I'll tell you what, Pete and I were catching them one way. We had 2 rods on the deck, but that wasn't the only way guys were catching them, right? So a lot of guys were catching them different ways, and they ran their pattern and what they were confident in. So kudos to the winners. The second place guys, I think the winners took big fish as well.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of great people there. Seth Ellis, who fishes the MPFL, he was there fishing. He did a good job. And so guys, if you
like, our housemates had a good finish.
Yep, that's right. Yep, Mike Nadeau.
Yeah.
How do you say it? Nadeau. Mike Nadeau and Nick Kincaid. Yeah. So that was the best part of it all. Like, yeah, the fishing was fun, but like hanging out in the house, eating that home cooked chili, like, man, that was boss. So appreciate those guys. And I can't wait to get back in the house with them for the next Derby.
Yeah. It was super fun, man. And looking forward to the next one. Not even worried about, like I've told Trey and I, aren't worried about cash and checks. It's always nice to make a little bit of money, but just out there having a good time and catching some fish. So
we made enough money to fund the rest of our season. I'll say that.
It was
So that's good.
it was a nice day. I paid several tournaments today. Entry. It was.
I haven't paid a single one yet. No, let's go.
Yeah, your time. Just order me some trick steps and we'll be good.
All
I
right, for
appreciate that,
sure.
David. Yeah, I try to rep the show
For
and a
sure.
few companies that support us, and I'm not a huge jersey guy, but I try to take some photos with it and stuff, But
Speaking of logos, and I know this is a little off topic, but David, and for anyone else out there that puts the decals on the boats, the stickers on your trucks, we have people that put our podcast logo on their jerseys. Like, man, we really appreciate that. We don't ask anybody to do that. But if you're out there passing through, repping the hat, like all you guys repping the apparel, like we truly appreciate that. And anybody that you can bring into the mix, we want to help continue building that culture. So you guys are super important in this journey that we're running.
Heck yeah, Jonathan. 13th, you're fishing the April 13th on Kerr. Is that a BFL? You'll have a good time. They're gonna be fishing pretty shallow. So
that's awesome at Norman too.
Yeah,
making 6. Sure. That's awesome.
6th at Norman. Somebody, I want to go through some comments. We're getting close to doing the giveaway. I know a lot of you.
Yeah.
But I saw, where was it? Frank Duffy said, if y'all remember me asking for tips on Norman a couple weeks back, I managed 3rd in big fish, a 5.14 pound spotted bass. That is awesome, Frank. Congratulations, man. We're super glad to hear you had a good tournament.
Yeah, Frank, we're going to need that in return because I suck on that lake.
Norman, I either do really well or I suck. So
feast or famine.
Yeah, it's there's no in between. If they're not on a top water bite around docks and points, I'm done. So
Mike John showed the house up on that one. Mike and Ben did.
Really, Mike.
Said I need one cast for my boat. Tony said one cast. All right, so Tony, I'm going to put a thing out in Facebook land probably next week. I'll get a count on folks that want to order carpet decals. You will have to pay before I order them because they are not cheap. So I will only order what people want, and then I'll get them ordered and we'll get them shipped out to everybody because we really appreciate y'all wanting to.
Do we want to maybe provide the PDF files up on the group too?
Yeah. So I can
we
put
could do
that
that
logo on there if you want to get it low. So that, you know what, that's even a better idea. I will put those in the Facebook group.
The vector files.
Yeah, I'll make a file for it. I get all my carpet graphics right now from Z Decals. I got a box of decals delivered here the other day. Yeah, I know they for some reason I've ordered decals for my boat and Trey's boat, and they sent them to your guys' house for some reason. I guess the address was wrong and I didn't pay attention. So
we appreciate you bringing them down here.
Yeah, we appreciate you bringing them down in a couple weeks when you come down. That's some sweet Hobie eyewear for the boat, so we can rep them guys. Yeah, I'll put those files in there. I use Z Decals right now to order mine. And Swamp Fox Customs, you've heard us talk about that. They're getting into making decals. They're about to send me a bunch of samples. And he's checking on if they can get the 3M carpet material and if that's something they can do. So we may have another option for you. But for right now, I order all my carpet decals through Z Decals. And I'll make a post in the group with that stuff on there. And I'll even put Z decals on there. They're the best that I have found. So yeah.
All right.
We need to do this thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up real quick and I'm gonna show the giveaway items in front of the camera. So pay attention, everybody. And then Pete's gonna pull up the one cast wheel of fishing, the wheel of fishing.
This is our first one. Hopefully, I didn't miss anybody. I think I'm good. I had our list going for quite a while.
So first, Trey's holding up an assortment of the snagless bladed jigs. And these are what size are these? Or are they just a mixture? I don't remember.
1/2 ounce, 3/8 ounce, 3/8 ounce, and 3/8 ounce.
So we got one of each color. We got a couple different sizes. We got the perch, shad, black and blue, and the green pumpkin. Probably a 1/2 ounce and 3 ounce of each. So we got the snagless bladed jigs, and then we've got something that's going to be coming to throw those on. Oh yeah, looking good.
Black and blue. Yeah, I got you on there, Tony. You sent your stuff in. Yes, sir.
And then we've got the Trey. This is actually Trey's rod. Cashin's actually going to ship the rod directly to the winner. That is their Icon chatterbait rod. Phenomenal rod, and specifically designed for the chatterbaits for the bladed jig. So Did you land one? Yeah, no, you just talked about your tournament. You didn't land one on it this weekend.
I haven't thrown one.
Oh, yeah.
I told everybody I was going to throw a bladed jig, and I have thrown it a little bit, but it wasn't bladed jig season for me just yet. It's all spinner stick, man.
And as Pete, if you're going to bring the wheel up there, just make the announcement. So to enter the giveaway here, you had to give a review on whatever platform you listen to our recorded podcast from, the OneCast. So Spotify, Apple, Podbean, Amazon, etc. And then all you had to do was screenshot that and then DM it to one of our socials, and then we got you entered in here. So this is for the first month. We have 4 more months of these. So if you haven't done that yet,
4.
Exactly, 4. You got 4 more. If you haven't done that yet, make sure you go do those reviews and send those to us, and you'll be entered in for the next 4 as well.
We've got a graph. We've got Hobie Eyewear. We've got a bunch of different bait packages. We've got an entire Plano edge box full of OneCast fishing. That's the old school jigs. It is completely full.
It is stacked full of those.
Couldn't fit
It's
another
the swim
one.
jigs, football jigs. I think there's bladed jigs. Those are all the old wire tied ones. So
But for this month, chatterbait rod and the bladed jigs. Again, for anybody that's on now, this is how this is going to go, and this is for fairness. I'm going to pull this wheel up. We're going to do 2 spins. Those spins are not the ones. That is just to show that it's random. And then the third spin, whoever that lands on, that is who's going to win this first month. So 2 spins are just showing that it's random. The third spin will be our winner. You do not need to be present. I will message whoever wins. Hold on. I'm trying to figure out how to use 2 monitors because I don't have them set up right. So I'm going to present this for everybody to see. So 3 spins. Everybody knows 3 spins. Everybody knows the rules. So the first 2 do not count. They are going to be just to show that it's random. Third spin will be the winner. So spin number 1 is coming right up.
all right. So this would be first non-winner.
Oh, Jess, sorry about that.
But you're not out. You still have the
You're
opportunity.
not out. Yeah, and it can. I tested it yesterday. I spun it like 40 times yesterday to see if just to make sure it was fair, and I think it only landed on the same person like 3 or 4 times. So this is number 2. Oh, Matt. Well, this is the one for all the marbles, everybody. Say your prayers, cross your fingers. The winner of our first month's giveaway is Randy Walker. All right, Randy Walker. I don't know if you're on, Randy, but you are our first month's winner. I will find where you messaged us, and I will get with you. All I'm going to need is an address. We'll get the jigs out, and I'll get your information to cash in, and they will get that over to you. So
congratulations, Randy.
Great.
Man.
Take a picture of that so I don't forget.
Yeah, hang on.
It's kind of weird not being in studio. So
You can't just screenshot there on the.
I don't know how to do that. I'm not an Apple guy. So.
I think it's Shift F4.
Alt print screen.
Yeah, see, I know that alt print screen, but this
we got it. We got it. Congratulations, Randy Walker, man. If he's on here, happy Easter. That's an awesome Easter gift as well. So the Easter bunny came a little early. That chatterbait rod, it does all the work for you. I will say that I don't only throw chatterbaits on there. You can get away with it with a couple other different baits. Particularly if you like scroungers, Team Pulse Fish Lures, like their jig head, work really well on that.
It's a good spinnerbait rod.
It's a good spinnerbait rod.
It's soft for me, but it is a good spinnerbait rod. Especially the Colorado Thumper blade. It's really nice to feel those.
And then with the OneCast bladed jigs, like you have an offset EWG hook, so you're going to be able to Texas rig your trailer on the back of that. Bugs work real good, or like creature baits work really good. Paddle tail swim baits work really good. Whatever your flavor is,
The split tails
work really good. So you'll be able to slow roll those bad boys through a lot of heavy cover, grass, all that good stuff. Throw them in open water, and you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. So what's next
Awesome.
for us, boys? I'm off the next 2 weeks because I took a new job and I don't start till April 15th.
Yeah,
so.
we better.
Did you go to the unemployment line yet, Pete?
No, I'm good. I'm going to be unemployed.
He said, no, I just took third in a tournament, so I'm covered for the next
good for
couple.
the next week.
Well, we better be fishing than some over the next couple weeks then.
Yeah, so Monday I will be at good old Jordan Monday morning. It's high, it's warming up, and I'm going to flip bushes and try to catch daggum PB.
There you go. What's your PB? 4 pounds?
Yeah.
That's no insult to anyone. 4 pounds of respectable fish.
Jeff, let me know, man. I'll be around the next couple weeks. So next week, Monday I'll be on Jordan. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday I will be on Gaston practicing for our tournament Saturday. So I get a long practice, which probably isn't good, but I'm going to try to maximize the practice time. So. We'll figure something out, Jeff. I may not go to Gaston until Wednesday. So just because it's in the bushes and it's the spawn and I want to go flip them out of bushes. And then, my dad's coming down the week after. So we're going to be doing a bunch of fishing then. Ben will probably come out.
David's coming down.
David's coming down. Trey,
with his wife.
Trey will be around after work. It's gonna be a blast. Jordan is about to be real nice, Ryan. Real nice.
I will say I did tie up a frog today. I just have a feeling. I got a feeling. You know what I mean? So you never know, man.
Buzzbait too.
People be catching them. Tuckertown, Frank, you're going to be on Tuckertown. Let me tell you. I ain't going. Let me tell you about Tuckertown.
The Grudge.
I ain't going to
Tuckertown. The grudge hair. I will tell you. Go back, or no, I'm sorry. I think there's this Thursday. Did Seth Micah's video already drop?
Yeah, it dropped.
So go back to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, whatever you want to do, and listen to the episode with Seth Micah. He's the fisheries biologist for District 5.
District 5, yeah.
District 5. Go back and listen to him. You'll learn a lot about that snot grass that we all hate getting caught up on our lures. It's actually a bacteria, right, Pete?
Yep. That's correct.
It's a bacteria. And he'll talk to you about what you need to do to make sure that you don't spread that bacteria around. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, go listen to that episode. Lots of great information.
100%.
Especially on that lake because it's.
Dude, you caught him on a buzzbait? What?
Yeah, Mikey.
Mikey.
Mike Nadu.
Oh, hey, I also got a Mikey. I was thinking about coming up with a new
shoe. That was Jeff that caught him.
Oh, I was thinking about coming up with, these are hey dudes. I was thinking about Mikey Nay dudes. You know what I mean? Like come up with his own brand of apparel, man. I think it'd be good.
It is about buzzbait though. I
got one tied up too. I tied one of those up.
I mean, I caught him out of the bushes in 3 inches of water, like 6 inches of water last.
Oh, Mikey Nay dudes. It was Mike.
I don't know what day that was. Oh, Mike. I just caught them on a buzzbait last week on Jordan. I thought you meant you did too, Jeff. So yeah, Mikey caught a couple good ones. So throwing them around those.
I've got my 911 tied up.
Throwing those bat boys around those bushes can be very good when it gets flooded. So.
Mike Johns must have said, "Always have a buzzbait tied on."
Yeah, Mike Johns will throw a buzzbait in 32-degree water. Like
Mike Johns,
ice on the surface, and he'll be throwing a buzzbait.
Mike, the next time we do live, I want you to take an audio recording of you bombing a buzzbait. Just take the ceramic audio. The ceramic bearings in that thing sound like 105 millimeter mortar firing at you.
I was going to say, the video going around with a guy, and then he's like, he's got no teeth in the beer. That's basically what Mike's reel sounds like. It's like a deep reel on crack.
At least he caught something 7 hours and 40 minutes with not a bite, 5 minutes, got a couple to put us in fourth place. Dude, seriously, got to go back to just never give up, right? Like making those clutch decisions, fishing to the last second. I know it wears you down and you're like, damn, dude. But I can't tell you how many times like the last 5 minutes have been, a difference between 5-6 places. Sometimes first place, man. You just never know. So what size shirts are you all? Pete, you wear an extra small, right?
Yeah, extra small.
He's got a little medium on.
Little kids R Us section. No, I think Pete, you're 2XL.
2 or 3X. Yep.
2 or 3X. I wear an extra large. Ben, you wear a large?
Extra large.
Extra large. So 2 extra larges and an extra large.
I was looking. Who asked?
Yeah, who asked that question? You don't have to
Tony
send us
Parsley.
anything.
Tony Parsley asked.
Tony,
Okay,
you don't
okay.
have to send us anything, man. But if you want to, we appreciate it.
Yeah, Jeff, I figured you caught yours on a shaky head. You're a shaky head fool. I know that. I went to Jordan on Monday. Yeah, Monday. And I caught mine on a D-bomb flipping bushes. I also got my boat stuck. I thought I was going to have Trey come rescue me. I used to talk a lot of smack about the elite guys when their motor was barely in the water and they were shooting mud 40 feet in the air. That was me on Monday. But 100%. I got her out of there and we were good to go. I was way back in there. Make that a 3X. Come on, Nick. That's cold as ice, bro.
You get your push pull for next week?
I push pull, but it'll be in there for this week. Yeah, I'll put.
I don't have a push pull.
I don't either.
I have a Pete.
Yeah. I thought I was gonna get out and push on. Luckily, back where I was. To be stuck on Jordan when it's at normal pool, you're pretty far back there. So the water was above 60, way back where I was at. So it wouldn't have been too terrible. Will Perryman said I got a 4.7 on Jordan with a 1-cast jig bourbon crawl.
Yeah, that's one of the old school ones.
30 miles per hour. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If you got pictures, Will, send them our way.
I think he did make a post.
Oh, did he? Awesome.
Yeah, he commented. Yeah, he commented on one of
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Greg, that would be cool, man. If you do that, we would definitely appreciate that. You got the LETR, the law enforcement. He does a lot of stuff with.
That'd be awesome. Yeah,
that's sick.
That's awesome.
Hey guys, turkey season is right around the corner.
I'm ready to shoot one in the face, bro. My favorite
right in the face. Turkey season's right around the corner. I will say, be cognizant around the public hunting areas around your lakes. Because turkey shot hurts. Not that I know, but just be careful. I just want to revisit real quick. We said it at the beginning of the show, and congratulations, Randy Walker, again on winning this month's giveaway. May 18th, Take a Warrior Fishing Inc. They're looking for 8 boaters. If you're in the local Sanford, North Carolina area or outside of it, and you want to take a veteran fishing on Sharon Harris Reservoir on May 18th, you can sign up through the Piedmont Bass Classics website. Doug Phillips and if you're a boater, a boater. If you're looking to do that, go to PiedmontBassClassics.com or FLR Outdoors. I think both of them have the links. You can contact Doug and Gretchen Phillips. They will get you signed up as a boater. And if you're a veteran and they're still looking for 8 boaters, so please sign up as a boater if you can. May 18th, it's a Saturday, no entry fees. Just go out, have a great time, take a veteran fishing.
Ryan, if you're still on here, Ryan Glennon, you guys still looking for 8? Just shoot it in the chat. But yeah, that was the last update I saw was 8. So I put Piedmont Bass Classics. If you're a boater, you can sign up there. There is a waiting list right now on May 18th, Mike. There's a waiting list for veterans, but I will post that link as well because there are people that back out. So you can get your name on that list. But also the Take a Warrior Fishing Inc. If you haven't listened to the episode, go back and listen. There's opportunities for veterans active duty to get out all the time. So if you go sign up on their website, they have email blasts when they have trips. It's all free of cost to our veterans when those trips pop up. So yeah, here's Ryan says, yes, we're still looking for 8. We have veteran active duty signed up, but we need boaters to step up and help. So if you're a boater anywhere near North Carolina or looking to travel and have a lot of fun, May 18th. So Mike says, let's do it. I'll come up. Mike, awesome, man. PiedmontBassClassics.com. You can sign up there for the event. It's no charge. And I'll be fishing it as a boater. Trey, now.
I'm going to shoot this on the air right now. Ryan already had a conversation with Doug and Hal. By the time Doug and Ryan and Dwayne, I think it's Dwayne, sit down and have a conversation. If you don't have enough boaters, I am reversing out of that as a veteran, and I am signing up as a boater. So that's guaranteed.
Yeah. Will Perryman.
And I'm going to relook my schedule and confirm whether or not I'm out of town. And if not, I plan on being a boater. So hopefully,
and David's coming down from New Jersey to do that. So that's going to be awesome.
That is going to be a ton of fun for anybody coming. If you are going to come, like, you literally just need to give your veteran a pole with a wacky rig,
100%. It does not matter what
May
color.
18th. Yeah.
Yep.
They
Yeah,
are going to catch fish.
Yep.
And if they have more experience, there'll probably be some fish on beds. Like it's going to be a good time.
And I'll tell you something that really helps out these veterans. Yeah, you are more than welcome to leave your boat at my place and your map card. So I will tell you this: if you run a Minn Kota Ultrex or a any of the other ones that have a wireless net control, one of the things I like to do is I like to put the vets in the front of the boat and control the boat for them to put them on fish. I don't care about catching the fish; I catch them all the time. But if it's a veteran's first time out there, there's nothing like having them feel that first tug on the end of the line with a bedfish. Now just be ready with the net because they're gonna run.
It's going to be a blast, man. I'm really looking forward to it. It's a great time of year. The more and more I learn about the organization and their mission, like it's going to be a blast. If you're worried about trophies and prizes, push that out of your mind. None of that matters. We're doing this to save lives, and that's really what it comes down to. We're trying to get veterans and active duty out to get their minds off everything. Outdoor therapy, introduce them to fishing, and maybe they'll go buy a boat and be the next Trey. Because I know like this had a big impact on his life and him getting into bass fishing. So
100%.
If you listen to the episode, you'll get more juice. I highly recommend going back and listening to that one if you haven't yet. You can hear the whole mission, everything that's going on. So and then the mixer, like I said, it's the night before, so May 17th. They've got a mixer at Ryan. You can put it in the chat because I forget. It's like Dirty Dogs or something in Sanford. I know I butchered that.
That's my house. That's the name of my house is Dirty Dogs.
Oh, you're Dirty Dogs in Sanford? Oh, that's my bad. It is a brewery in Sanford, and I am so sorry that the name has
Wild Dogs. That's it.
Wild Dogs. That's it. I knew it was Dogs something. Wild Dogs Brewing in Sanford. They got a mixer the night before. You can go sign up. You can get you'll get to meet your vet or your boater if you're a veteran that's fishing. You can sign the waivers, knock all of that stuff out. Have a little bite to eat, listen to some music, hang out with us. We'll talk fishing. I'll give you all the juice that I know on Harris leading up to it. There's going to be games. It's going to be a good time. So,
all right.
We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I think I know what you said. So yeah, that's all I got, everybody, man. I really appreciate everybody's support. Like we've been saying, there's still time. If you have not gotten in the giveaway, we still got 4 more months. We still got a bunch of awesome prizes. We've got Hobie Hour. We've got Swamp Fox Customs Lures. We've got missile baits. We've got a low ranch hunter. We've got all kinds of great stuff.
I'm probably just going to throw like a bunch of tackle in there.
I don't have any extra tackle to give away.
Oh, yeah, sure. said that 500-gallon Rubbermaid tote you filled up.
We cleaned my boat out.
I got about 500 shad wraps.
I cleaned my boat out at Trey's house on Sunday, and I gained 3 miles an hour with all the soft plastics I took out of it, if that tells you anything. So,
yep.
Oh, yeah, don't forget a custom jersey you designed from FX3. Mike's donating a jersey from FX3 for the giveaway as well. So I don't think it's the one he gave me. We're going to hang this up in the room.
But it's very similar.
Will, you either if you are subscribed to our YouTube, just send us a screenshot on socials of your thing where it shows that you're subscribed. If you do listen to the podcast on Apple or on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on any of them, if you leave us a review there, take a screenshot of the review, DM it to us, and I will get that on there. So Mike says you can design that jersey however you want. So that is FX3 throwing that in. So greatly appreciate Mike Johnson and that's another great organization. If you guys aren't aware, another one that's doing their part to help bring an end to veteran suicide and what is an epidemic in our country. So look forward to all of our support, all you folks, all the partners we've got to work with, all the relationships we've built. And I know I say it every week, but man, it's just like it fills my heart. Like honestly, we've met so many really good folks. It about brought a tear to my eye when David Fuchs was like, "I'm coming down to fish that event." Like we're just some dudes that started putting stuff on the internet, and we got a guy driving down New Jersey to fish a veteran event and hang out with us for a couple of days. Like that is so cool to me. And even if we only had 4 people listen to us, like the fact that folks will do that kind of stuff is just I don't know, blows my mind, because you get a little
awesome.
bit, you get a little bit callous to the world with some of the stuff that we've done in our lives, and to know that there's still a bunch of good people out there and that we're all united through fishing, it makes me super happy. So looking forward to the events coming up with Soba, with Take a Warrior Fishing. Hopefully some more trips coming with Trey and his organization. I had a lot of fun. We did one a month or so ago. So hopefully some more stuff coming there, and looking forward to meeting more of you, and hopefully getting to spend some time on the water. Will Perryman, I do want to answer your question before we sign off. You asked about the crankbait on falls this time of year. For me, it's just going to be any square bill in a craw or a
Fritz side.
I saw snag side will work too. I call them snag side because they're the snaggiest crankbaits.
I've had a lot of success. Well, usually more than March, but it's kind of been
it's getting to be that time of the year where the crankbait kind of gets put away a little bit. So
yeah, I would tell you on Falls Lake right now, if you're looking to get out there, like I've had some of the best days on Falls this time of year with a 1/2 ounce, just the generic Strike King KVD double willow leaf blade spinner bait. And I've put a lot of big fish in the boat. And then in a couple months, you want to get out there with a pop R, because it absolutely is a fire bait on that lake as well. So however you fish it, a spinner bait's a staple bait, man.
Yeah. So appreciate y'all again. I don't have anything else. Thank you all for joining us again.
Congratulations again, Randy.
Yeah, Randy, congratulations. And last thing I want to say before you take us off, Pete, is happy Easter to all you guys and your families. Hopefully you get to spend some quality time. We know that you can't get time back, so we appreciate you guys helping us to continue building a culture of anglers helping anglers one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.